Very happy to join all of you once again for our Facebook Live session, our Thursday Facebook Live sessions this evening. And I really want to thank all of you for very regularly, in a much committed way, joining us on these Thursday Facebook Live sessions. Sometimes these are questions and answers sessions. Sometimes these are just Facebook Live sessions where we discuss things and have mutual inspiration for each other in order to live our lives better. Nima, we are very happy that you have joined us this evening. Tripiktana, thank you so much for being with us. Sabnam Kaji, thank you for joining us. Mehek, very happy to have you here. Alok, thank you for asking that question, but today's session is a Facebook Live session as announced and not a Facebook Live Q&A session. We'll have a Q&A session next week again. Dharmesh, thank you for joining us. Shashi, very happy and a good evening to you. Vido, thank you for joining us this evening. Natasha, Dharmesh, Samiran, very happy to see you here on our Facebook Live session this Thursday evening. Samiran, Kamolika, TSB, Jackson, Neha, Ankita, I'm really glad that all of you have joined. Jackson, glad to see you as well. Pratham, good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us all this evening. One time a lady asked her husband, when men die and they reach heaven, what do they get there? The man said, when a man dies and reaches heaven, he gets very beautiful apsaras, very beautiful angels in heaven. The lady said, and when women die, what do they get when they go to heaven? The man said, when a woman dies and she goes to heaven, she gets a restless, notorious monkey in heaven. The woman said, that's not fair. I don't think God is playing it fair. How can God be fair there? Because man, when he's on planet Earth, he gets a beautiful Apsara, an angel here, and when he dies, even in heaven, he gets a beautiful Apsara and a heaven there. So an angel and an Apsara here, and after death an angel and an Apsara there. And she said, a woman, my God, when she's here on planet Earth, she gets a restless, notorious monkey here, and when she dies, she gets a restless, notorious monkey in heaven. Men, please excuse me for saying that, but today is the International Women's Day. I wish all of you women a very happy Women's Day. And men, if we do ever have a International Men's Day, I'll also talk about you and what you do for the world. But today, we will talk a little bit about the wonderful contributions and the wonderful angelic qualities of women. It's quite incredible. All of us will remember our mothers, our sisters, our daughters. For many of you, your spouses, mother-in-laws. So many different ladies possessing incredible angelic qualities of kindness, of service, of sacrifice, of love, and of simply giving themselves to bring a difference in the lives of people whom they come in contact with, and to bring a difference in the men and in the lives of people in this world. Extremely transforming. The way women transform the lives of their children, transform the lives of their husbands, transform the lives of their parents, transform the lives of people whom they come in contact with, is incredibly inspiring and amazing indeed. Once when I was talking like this on the International Women's Day a couple of years back, one man said, but all women are not like that. All women don't love. All women don't sacrifice. All women don't serve. Some women are very mean. Some women are very selfish. I said, man, I'm talking about the principle of womanhood. Just like when I talk about men, I talk about the principle of manhood, the values, the principles, the qualities, the characteristics that womanhood or manhood represents. There's always going to be exceptions. There's always going to be men who will abuse their manhood, and there may always be exceptions where even women may abuse their womanhood. But one cannot make exceptions as the general rule. Plus, in what circumstances, in what situations do they happen to make some abuse or use their womanhood negatively? We don't even know. For example, a lady who happens to play the role of a prostitute, a lady who is into prostitution, a woman, many times we sympathize with what she has to go through. What situation has put her into that? We do not know. So yes, we're talking about the principle of womanhood. And on Men's Day, if there ever be a Men's Day, the principle of manhood. It's quite amazing. One of the angelic quality, one of the sterling quality that inspires me a lot when I see women in this world is their capacity, their ability, their tenacity to handle so much. If you carefully observe the life of a woman, she's a multitasker. She does not have to take a management degree or a management diploma to be able to multitask. In fact, she will, by her ability and capacity to handle so much, very often put men to shame. A woman in India, for example, when she wakes up in the morning, God, she has to handle so much. Take care of the in-laws' needs, take care of the husband's needs, take care of the children's needs, get the children ready to go to school. While she's doing that, the milkman comes, get the milk, the newspaper vendor comes, handle the newspaper. She's cooking in the middle of all of that. She's getting ready to go to office. At work, she handles the boss's pressure. If she is the boss, she's handling so much pressure. She's handling all kinds of pressures coming at work, connecting to her friends and colleagues at work. And then she comes back in the evening tired, and again once if she's cooking herself or she has a maid, but she has to look at how the maid is cooking. Make sure that everybody is happy and satisfied. Amazing quality of how women and ladies multitask. Yes, they have tremendous capacity to handle things. But what inspires me in particular about their capacity is their capacity to handle a lot of adversity and trouble. I always used to feel that men are stronger than women. I've changed my opinion actually. I've changed my thought process actually. I've changed my paradigm in this regards. When I saw my father leave this world, when I saw my grandfather leave this world, when I saw so many other friends of mine whose fathers left this world or whose grandfathers left this world, I saw these women, the single widows, so strong. They were affected because of their affection towards their spouses, but they were so strong in handling their adversity, standing strong to support the family, support the children, support the grandchildren. In fact, my grandmother, I know when my father left, my grandmother and my mother said, don't worry, we will take care of all of our needs and we'll take care of ourselves. You go ahead and do your good work. I bow down to my grandmother, my mother, and so many such mothers, grandmothers and women all over the world who support the men in their own ways to do what they do for the world, to do what they can really contribute back to the world. Yes, the capacity and the fortitude that women possess to handle challenges and adversity is incredibly amazing. In fact, a friend of mine, recently his wife was in the hospital, and he came and he said to me that she's really ill and I'm feeling very insecure because if she goes, I do not think I can continue to live. I've seen many men when they lose their spouses, when they lose their wives, they go through a very challenging time and very difficult time because they're so dependent on them. So yes, I used to think that men are stronger than women. But when I see the world around and when I see the society around, I find women much stronger than men. This evening I thought I'll share with you the story and the life of an incredible woman whose life inspired me a lot, who my guru wrote her narration in his book, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, in the book The Journey Within, and has really beautifully described her story. A girl when she was just about 6 years old, in a village in India, simple little girl from a vernacular family, and the parents felt at 6 years of age she doesn't need to go to school because there's so much to do. The parents are farmers, so naturally she should be taking care of buffaloes and a herd of buffaloes and cattle. So they took her out of school and they decided to have her herd the cattle. This little girl would go into the fields, herding cattle all over the place. But her calling, her desire, her passion to study, to get educated was burning within her so much that she would leave the cattle in the grazing grounds to graze, and she would rush to school, even if it was late, to attend the school and study and get educated. And then because she would come late, many times the teachers would reprimand her, chastise her, even beat her up sometimes. And then she would come back after school to the grazing grounds, and the farmers would chastise her, reprimand her, punish her sometimes, because the cattle would have gone into their fields and their farms and have eaten some of their crops. And in such a situation, this little girl, at the age of 60 plus, remembers that those days of her childhood, between 6 and 10, were the best days. Even though she was punished, even though she was beaten up sometimes, reprimanded and chastised, but she still was studying. She was still getting an opportunity to learn and get educated. And at the age of 10, worse times were to come. Her family got her married to a guy who was 20 years older to her. She was 10, he was 30. And when they got married, at the age of 20, she already had 3 children, 3 sons. And at 20, when she was pregnant with her 4th child, one of the local men whom she was revolting against because he was exploiting women, this man, he came and he complained to the husband that your wife has an extramarital affair, and in fact she has an affair with him. And that the child in her womb is not his child, but this guy's child. The husband was infuriated. Late in the night, the husband threw her out of the house, kicked her on her stomach several times. What a sad thing that many times women become an object of domestic violence at the hands of men in this world. It's quite asuric, it's quite demoniac. How can someone not empathize with the needs of a woman who sometimes is in such a helpless situation? He kicked her several times on her stomach. The lady fell unconscious. And thinking that she's dead, the guy dragged her into the cowshed around and threw her that so that people wouldn't come to know that he was the one who killed her. As she was unconscious and slowly coming back to consciousness, she started getting labor pains and the cows started coming to kind of hit her with the horns. One cow in particular came and stood over this 20-year-old lady, the mother of 3 sons who were now with the father, and the 4th child about to take birth. The cow stood over her so that none of the other cows could disturb this lady. It's amazing. So many times even animals have feelings, empathy and sympathy towards humans. An animal like a cow, many times animals like dogs, and human beings do not feel for the feelings of others. She stood there, right there under the legs of that cow, under the body of the cow. This lady gave birth to the 4th child, a girl. She took a sharp-edged, razor-edged stone to cut the umbilical cord and hold the baby for the first time. And as she looked at that cow, into the eyes of the cow, she said, "My dear mother, just as you stood over me to help me when I was in a helpless condition, I promise you that I will try my level best to be of help to someone who is in a helpless condition." And this lady, picking up the little baby, left to go to her parents' home. In a very orthodox home there, the parents realized once she's married, we're not going to take the daughter back. How horrible. They did not take her back. They did not accept her with her daughter who was rejected by her husband and the in-laws. So she was not with the in-laws and the husband. Her parents were not accepting her. Completely destitute, completely rejected, completely thrown away, feeling completely hopeless. The woman started wandering over. 20 years old. Could very easily be a victim to the lust of so many exploitative men around. Realizing that this could be the condition, she took shelter of a crematorium where human bodies were being burnt as per the Hindu rituals, knowing that not many people would come and do such kind of a thing with her there, also fearing that that place is haunted. And many times when these people would come in, according to the Hindu rituals, when they would do the pinda with the wheat flour and water, she would take that wheat flour and water and many times roast it like a roti, like a flatbread, on the funeral pyre where the dead body was burning. And it was that she was eating and feeding her little one as the little girl whom she had given birth to was growing. She started feeling her life is hopeless. One day, in utter helplessness, this lady decided, I don't think I should live. It's quite amazing how because of what people do to us, one can come to the extent of hopelessly contemplating suicide. She came to a train station with a little girl and decided that she would throw herself down as the train comes. As she laid there on the railway tracks, waiting for the train to come and run her over along with her child, ending their lives forever in utter hopelessness, she heard the groaning of someone. Tracing the noise, she got up from the railway track, picked up the child, and in the direction of the voice she started moving. She found a little beggar, crying, hungrily, practically on the verge of death. She decided I should do something for him before I end my life. She went around begging and got a little food and gave it to the beggar to eat, feeling satisfied that she had helped the beggar and given him an opportunity to live. She did not end her life that day. She rested that night. The next morning as she was walking around, it was hot. The scorching heat of the sun was burning her. She was shading her little daughter with the pallu of her Maharashtrian sari. And as she sat down under a tree to get some shade, she looked up. There was a branch of a tree cut by a woodcutter hanging down. That was the moment of change. That was the tipping point. God had spoken to her through that branch. She thought to herself and got that inspiration from God within her heart that when a branch of a tree cut by a woodcutter, despite so much pain, still continues to give shade to me and my daughter. Yes, I have been cut in my life. I have been exploited in my life. I have been rejected in my life, just like this branch of a tree. But despite the branch being cut, the tree hasn't given up its nature to shelter others. That was the tipping point. Remembering the promise she gave to the cow that I will one day help the helpless, she decided, just as a tree gives shelter to so many despite the pain people cause to her, despite the pain that has been caused to me, I will shelter the homeless people. That is when she started getting homeless, abandoned children, children thrown on railway tracks, orphans, children who were abandoned on the banks of the rivers. She started picking those children up and started nursing them, caring for them. She started singing songs. She's a good singer, very good singer. She started singing songs on railway platforms and putting her pallu of her sari, Maharashtrian sari, and begging for some money. In this way she started nursing children. Many people around started seeing the noble work that this woman was doing, and they started supporting her. With the little money that she got, she built a small structure so that the children could start living there, and thus started a shelter for the homeless and the abandoned children in the state of Maharashtra. Just as a tree would give shelter despite all the pain that people had caused the tree. Soon, this lady became the mother to thousands of abandoned children, orphans who had left, who had both their parents going away from this world. Soon many people started supporting her. Many of these thousands of children whom she gave shelter to are today lawyers, doctors, chartered accountants, engineers, farmers, entrepreneurs, business people. Her 3 sons left their father and came to the mother, and they're now doctorates and PhDs. That little girl who was born under the cow is today a medical doctor and helps her mother to take care of these children who are sick and ill and medically help them. And so many of the children whom she grew up, who were abandoned, have started helping him. She received 270 awards. She's spoken in 15 different countries so far, inspiring so many women who were exploited, inspiring so many women who were abandoned, so that they can find their calling, so that they can find their purpose, come out of their self-absorption of pain and start getting absorbed in living a life of purpose. And not just women, men as well. The most touching part of the story is one day a 80-year-old man who was very sick, emaciated, came to her and said if she would accept him in the orphanage. It was her husband, the same man who had caused her so much pain, who had kicked her on the stomach several times and rejected her when she was in labor pain. It was him who had listened to that other man that she had an affair and had thrown her out. She forgave him. I'm not saying everybody should. I'm just saying she made that choice to forgive him and to accept him in the orphanage. She said, the only thing is, I am not going to take you in as a husband. You will be one of my children and I will be your mother. Like I have decided from Mother Cow, who sheltered me, to also become a mother to people in a helpless situation. I see you are in a helpless situation as well. I accept you as a mother. And whenever anybody would come to the shelter home, she would say, he's my oldest son, and she would tell everybody else, he's in great need and you should shower good affection on him and care for him. And many times she would refer, he's a very naughty son of mine. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this woman decided to turn a calamity into an opportunity to serve. We all go through calamities. We all go through adversities. We all go through difficulties. We all go through trying circumstances, tribulations, and problematic situations. We have to choose whether we should be in a helpless condition, mourning and crying, or we come out of our self-absorption and absorb ourselves in trying to live a life of purpose and helping others. This lady's story is an extremely inspiring story. The name of this woman, Srimati Sindhutai Sapkal. Srimati Sindhutai Sapkal is an amazing inspiration to the world of someone who decided to see the alphabet, to see the letter of the alphabet O. You can see the letter of the alphabet O at the end of the spelling of the word zero, Z-E-R-O. So when you see everything is zero in my life, everything is finished in my life, I'm helpless, I'm useless, in such a situation, you choose to see the word zero and you choose to see the letter O at the end of the word zero, which means everything's ended. Or you could be like a Sindhutai Sapkal, where you could start looking at that letter O at the beginning of the word opportunity. When you look at O and zero, you think everything's ended. It's all an end. When you look at the letter O in the word opportunity, you see there is a fresh beginning. Yes, adversity, calamity can turn into an opportunity to grow, can turn into an opportunity to serve, can turn into an opportunity to contribute, to give back, to help, to make a difference in someone's life. Sindhutai Sapkal, that most amazing, inspiring, admirable, respectable woman, is an example of a woman who did not allow crises to pull her down, who allowed crises to transform it into an incredible opportunity to serve. And therefore, when I say that women are much stronger than men, not to say that men don't have these stories, but the way women display their grit, but the way women display their determination, the way women display their power is incredibly inspiring. So yes, when I said that women are much stronger than men, I was remembering Sindhutai Sapkar and many other such women whom I'm personally seen and read about, but time is not apt to narrate so many stories. So many times I tell women, why are you saying that you are equal to men? We don't want that. Women equality. If someone sent me a message today morning, why are women talking about women equality when they are superior to men? They're superior to men, and why do they want to come down to the level of being equal to men? You are superior, you're way too powerful, you're way too strong, and you're way too amazing and inspiring. And women, the very reason they may have become strong and they may have come back in a way that they do today, not their fault. The way many times they were oppressed, dealt with, lack of dignity, trouble, exploitation, oppression, rightly so, they came back in a certain way, or they came forth in a certain way. And therefore, I truly offer my sincerest respects. I admire and adore womanhood, which has transformed the lives of so many in this world in an angelic, incredible way. I wish all the women in this world a happy Women's Day. I respect all of you. I fall at your feet and offer my obeisances for the amazing things that you do for your families, the amazing things that you do for your world, and represent the principle of womanhood in an amazing way. Yes, there will be women who may not utilize or may not represent it rightly, but there are men, there are monks, there are professionals who do not represent the values that they are meant to represent rightly. Exceptions are always there, and those exceptions are also situational and circumstantial, so we should not judge, criticize in a condescending way, but we should even empathize with them that they may have done something negatively because of something in their lives, like I say in that video, the hidden mango. We cannot judge somebody unless we actually know the background to it. So yes, I really congratulate all of you ladies for what you do, and I wish you all the best. And I make an appeal to men that yes, respect womanhood, treat womanhood with great dignity, and understand the incredible transforming angelic value that womanhood represents. I wish all of you, particularly the women, a very happy Women's Day. Thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you next Thursday for our Facebook Live questions and answers session. Saibal, thank you very much for joining us. Gopal, very happy to have you. Ruby, thank you for saying only if men can respect women like that. Yeah, Ruby, we should try and at least keep speaking about this so that the seed is sown and slowly yet steadily this awareness can spread and that respect can be brought about. Isha, Sangeeta, Malabika, thank you so much for joining us. And Shush Chandwani, very happy to have you. Hariharan, Deepa, Pinky, Santana Fernandez, really glad that you've joined us this evening. Nishant, very glad that you're here. Nancy, fantastic to see you here. Very happy that you are here. Thank you very much. Hari Krishna, and see you next Thursday for our Facebook Live questions and answers session. Wish you a very good evening ahead, and for others a good night or a great day ahead. Thank you.